There we go. So if you've not already done so, please put your name and organization in the chat box. My name is Sarah Sarelson, and I'm the Executive Director of the Wyoming Children's Trust Fund and Prevent Child Abuse Wyoming. I would like to take one moment to thank a handful of people who have been project leaders on this initiative for about the last year. So Jason Mincer from Enroll Wyoming, Sabrina Lane from Wyoming 211, Nicole Nieder from the Children's Trust Fund, Danielle Marks from Department of Family Services, Sheila Reisley from the Align team, Josh Hannes from the Wyoming Primary Care Association, and Jen Davis from the Governor's Office. All right, let's figure out where we are coming from today. I'm going to put up a poll, so if you'll just take a quick look to see which area you're going to answer in, and I will get it launched and give you just a moment to see where we all are today. We have a few people that are still deciding where in Wyoming you are located. And so far we have someone everywhere, which is exciting, but we have a few more people who are still deciding where it is that they are. All right, let me show you. So you can see we definitely have the most people in southeastern Wyoming, and then southwestern and northeastern are tied, which is fascinating, and one person today representing northwestern. So thanks so much for tuning in from all over the state, although we have a few people who did not answer, and thanks so much for putting your names in the chat box as you're still coming in. All right, so you're here today to hear a project update on Family Resource Centers. So we're going to talk a little about the evolution of this project, Family Resource Centers and what they are, what we have already done for implementation, and a few next steps. Family Resource Centers have been a conversation for a long time among family serving agencies because the research tells us that in areas where family resource centers are implemented, that child maltreatment decreases and family outcomes increase. In 2022, the Governor's Health Task Force lifted the idea of family resource centers as a need for all of us, for Wyomingites. So in June of 2022, 30 organizations gathered together to participate in strategic planning for implementing family resource centers. Many of you that are here today participated in those efforts. And then in the 2023 legislative session, funding was included in House Bill 195 for family resource centers from the American Rescue Plan. And I will drop a link to that specific legislation if you are interested in reading it. Governor's Health Task Force identified that Wyoming communities lack a coordinated, no wrong door human services system. This is not news to any of us. These siloed approaches to delivery of services, agency duplication, and gaps in data sharing create barriers for all of us, both providers, families, and individuals throughout Wyoming. Wyoming lacks a coordination of human services data across community organizations. So there are some organizations that are collecting a lot of data and others who are collecting different or similar data, but not necessarily anybody that's talking data to data across the state or collecting what is the impact that family serving agencies are having as we implement interventions across the state. Because of this, Governor's Health Task Force identified that multi-generational family resource centers, if established or strengthened, can address the gaps in human services access for all of us. Family Resource Centers is the name that we call it because there's a lot of research out there that talks about family resource centers specifically. But it can be called other names: family support centers, family success centers, parent resource centers. The list goes on as far as what it could be called. And we have a few family resource centers in Wyoming that are called family resource centers. We also have many family resource centers that are not called anything about family resource center, family success center, parent resource center, but that are providing family services to those who need it. So I have a quick poll here. I assume that many of you have heard previously of family resource centers, but I want to see where we are with our audience today. So have you previously heard of family resource centers? Almost everybody has responded, so I'll give everybody just another couple seconds to decide. It's all anonymous, so I don't know who responds what answer. All right, I'm going to end the poll and share with you. So most people today have heard of family resource centers. We have someone who has not and someone who is not sure. And then we have a few people that did not answer, so we're not sure what their answer might be. Thank you for playing along as we're going through. I have a draft definition to share with you today. It may or may not end up being what we finalize as Wyoming's Family Resource Center, but family resource centers in Wyoming are collaborative, community-based entities with an individualized, family-centered approach. They provide on-site, targeted programs, services, resources, activities, and classes to strengthen families and Wyoming communities. These facilities welcome community members who desire support, services, and opportunities to create healthy, strong, and successful families and communities. When you think about the work that you are doing, it most likely fits into this definition of what we're doing to be able to strengthen families and Wyoming communities. FRC's Family Resource Centers use a multi-generational approach to put families at the center of their services. So this might be parent education and enrichment programs. It could be youth and child development programs. Family Resource Centers don't have to provide all of these services, but they're connected to others who provide pieces of these services. So child care referral and resources, home visitation, concrete support assistance. So this is formula, diapers, other immediate needs for families, resource linkage and referral. And we'll talk about how this connects into Wyoming 211, and health and wellness programs and activities. So as you can see, the things that you're doing fits into what it is that family resource centers do. Family resource centers are generally community-based drop-in centers that may be co-located or standalone. So some locations are community centers, schools, libraries, faith-based organizations, and a new thing that is popping up around the nation are mobile family resource centers. So I think a little bit of the health buses that go from location to location and those sorts of things that we know are getting to the people who need it most, who sometimes don't have transportation to be able to go from place to place to place. I have a Wyoming example to share with you today from Laramie County. You will see that this was filmed a while back, but it's an excellent visual of a family resource center.
Welcome to the PEEPS Family Resource Center. PEEPS stands for Parent Engagement and Educational Partnership with Schools. PEEPS is a one-stop shop for Laramie County School District No. 1 families to connect to community resources and to assist families in supporting their students' academic needs.
Thank you for joining us on our virtual tour of the Family Resource Center, located off of Pershing Boulevard and Evans Avenue in the Story Gym building.
I am Nicole George and one of 2 family engagement facilitators in the district.
I am Laura Fowler. Our dedicated PEEPS team works daily to bring families, educators, and community partners together to support academic success and the healthy development of all students.
Established in 2019 using Title IV funding, Laramie County School District No. 1 created a district-wide program to meet the growing needs of our families. The PEEPS Family Resource Center is the district's centralized operation for family support, district and community-centered resources, and community outreach.
At the Family Resource Center, parents and guardians can receive one-on-one supports with focus on the whole child and family. Through collective community partnerships, we can connect families to resources, assist with paperwork needs, and provide training and supports on a variety of topics.
At our Family Resource Center, families can utilize on-site computers that have access to the internet to complete district forms such as free and reduced lunch applications and student enrollment. Families can also use the computers to locate jobs, complete applications and resumes, and access online applications such as Medicaid and SNAP.
The Family Resource Center offers free fall, winter, and spring parenting with love and logic sessions for parents and guardians. This 6-week, 1 session per week program provides positive research-based tools for parent engagement with children of all ages.
The Family Resource Center also has a lending library and child care area where children can play and read while adults visit with staff. The PEEPS team participates in community efforts to support families through shoe drives, back-to-school supplies, and other basic need items. We welcome all types of donations to share with our families in need.
PEEPS partners with multiple agencies in the community, including nonprofit, public entities, and faith-based groups to ensure positive outcomes for our students and families. Our hope is to support our community partners in becoming more visible and accessible to the families in Cheyenne.
To find out about the activities and events happening at the PEEPS Family Engagement Center, you can locate us on Facebook or by visiting our district website at www.laramie1.org under the tab Family and Students, and then clicking Family Engagement Center in the far right column. There is an updated list of community resources on this page.
Due to district safety precautions and staff availability at the Family Resource Center, please contact us to schedule an appointment. The PEEPS are here to help in whatever way we can. If we can't help you, we will work to find someone who can.
So that video is such a good visual representation of what one of our family resource centers in Wyoming looks like. Wyoming families have been surveyed over and over and over, and they continue to identify these areas as the greatest need for their families. So we're talking about transportation or an inability to access the services that are available. Housing, both lack of affordability and availability. Mental health and substance abuse treatment, lack of services, excessive wait times, and lack of choices in providers. Childcare, both affordability and accessibility, and lack of knowledge of what the available resources are. I have another poll for you to identify which of these you would identify as the greatest need in your community. And I'll give you just a moment. It lets you only pick one, or you can pick other, and you can put your answer in the chat box if there's something else that you are seeing in your community. I'll give you a minute. This is hard to pick just one. We still have a few answers that are coming in, and about 75% have answered. We'll give you just another moment to decide. Or if there's two that are your top, you just want to pick one. All right, I'll go ahead and close it and show you. So we have housing coming up as with most, followed by mental health, and then looks like childcare, transportation, and lack of knowledge are tied. So thank you for taking part there. Oops, I think I shared it again. All right, there we go. Let's talk about implementation in Wyoming. So our project has two primary goals: to create a statewide network whose focus will be to provide technical assistance and best practices for communities, and to provide grants to individual Wyoming communities to help establish or strengthen family resource centers. And also with the piece of collecting and monitoring family resource center data. So we're going to talk about all of that in more depth in an upcoming section. I have a snapshot here of the project. It can be broken down into years and topics from this year through September of 2026, with plans that are ongoing to identify sustainable funding for the following years. So when we're looking at each year, what are our main priorities? And we're broken down there into years. We'll dive into that a little bit deeper here in a moment. And the funding question. So what funding do we have now? We have $100,000 from the preschool development grant. We have $2.75 million from the ARPA bill and an additional $2 million from the Supplemental Child Care and Developmental Fund. And here the budget is broken down further. So as you can see, 2.1 million of the budget is for 2023 and 2024, and 2.75 million is for 2025 and 2026. Give you a moment to see. Over on the left side, it shows each of the main areas where that money is being spent, and then the amount that is being spent in each of those areas. And then question that many who came today want to know is the breakdown of the grant budget. So here we're looking at $3,985,500 from this project that will go to community grants, broken down by years as we roll out over time. So multiple aspects of this project have already started, and some pieces will be initiated in the near future. Before we jump into each of these areas, I'm going to do another poll to find out what areas are most of interest for you. This one you can pick multiple, so I'll give you a moment. We have heard from almost everyone, so we'll give it another little bit of time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end this poll, and I will show you So 38% are interested in evidence-based training for staff, 28% being connected to Wyoming 211, 20% data collection training and support, 28% in grant funding. I think this is the most, 68% in increased community collaboration, 35% decreased agency duplication, 50% increasing family engagement and involvement, 33% evaluating if our services are working as intended, and nobody chose the other. So most are wanting a little bit of everything across the board. Amy Zeke, who is on today and has been in the chat box, has been working on an environmental scan. She has been reviewing previously completed assessments. So we talked about that families are asked over and over and over the same information. We also have heard that so our providers asked the same information over and over and over. And so Amy was tasked with going out and finding what already exists out there before we have to ask again for the information that is already available. So she has then been making stakeholder calls when there's any gaps to learn more about the current landscape of family serving agencies. So this report will be available in August, and we're very excited to see how Wyoming is looking. And it's going to provide information on those already existing community partnerships, some gaps, opportunities for collaboration. The national standards training. If you are on today and you attended the national standards training that was last week, would you please raise your hand? Excellent. I see lots of hands popping up. Oh, more coming. Very good. Great. Thank you. Thank you for that representation. You can put your hand down. We will have more opportunities. What we are first going to do is we're going to meet with this initial group that completed the training to identify whether the training was beneficial and if it's something that we should continue to offer in the future. It's a piece of family resource centers. States get to decide, as we are rolling this out, we will decide what is the standard to be a family resource center in Wyoming. And one of those first steps is learning what the national network say is a requirement for being part of their network. And then we will decide, are we going to be part of a national network? Are we going to be part of a Wyoming network or something in between or something different completely? So stay tuned on that. ACES training is a component of this project. So we currently have 30 master trainers across Wyoming. We have statewide efforts for executive, legislative, and judicial branch trainings, some of which are later this week. We also are going to have another round of ACES master training that will take place in February of 2024. Protective factors. We have 20 protective factors trainers across Wyoming, and under this project, we are implementing a statewide data collection system on the protective factors survey. We're very excited to be able to have a statewide family serving data collection system that is going to be paid for and supported by not you, but by the work that we are doing. So being part of data collection system will not cost your agency anymore. We will provide training and technical assistance. And so that is an exciting piece of how we can collect statewide data and how you'll have access to your own data to be able to use for community grants or for pieces that you want to do in your community to be able to use the information that is supported by these funds. Major component of this project is connecting to Wyoming 211. And that includes training on how to utilize Wyoming 211 for both organizations and communities. We are very excited for some of the expansion that is coming to Wyoming 211 and being able to tap into their network as a main piece of resource and referrals and being able to have a one-stop shop, whether that's for you as a provider or for families who are utilizing those services. And the FRC network will focus on a few different buckets. So lots of training. We've talked about technical assistance, connecting providers with community and across Wyoming. So we're talking about those collaborations that you're looking for, supporting the people, supporting the families, making sure that you all and your staff have what you need to be able to do the best practices. Takes time and effort and collaboration, and we want to walk in partnership in that with you. And then linking to grants for communities to be able to do some of this work. We also have an RFP that will be released this week for an evaluator. We're looking to identify those key indicators of, did we implement this project as we intended? It's very important to us that we are following the evidence, looking at the research, and doing this in a way that is going to have the best outcomes for families and the most support to you all doing the work. So we're looking to identify those key indicators and how we then are going to have that statewide data collection. We need to decide as a state, as a network of family resource centers, what data are we all going to be part of collecting so that we can tell the story of what family serving organizations in Wyoming are doing to impact the families that you are serving. And we will provide opportunities to apply for community grants. They will be open to the public and to private organizations, family serving organizations. We will ask you to use community or other data sources to identify your community's needs for these funds. All right, so grant applications. The first step to applying for funding and technical assistance will be to submit a letter of intent. In the next few weeks, we will be releasing a template for your organization to let us know that you're interested in applying for funding or technical assistance. Let's just do a quick poll, see who at this point is thinking about submitting a letter of intent or a letter of interest. Hello, I. It doesn't tell me who you are, so I won't know if you changed your mind later. So feel free to answer with your heart today. All right, we have answers coming in. I'll give you another moment. It's slowed down. We'll see if anybody else wants to answer real quickly. All right, I'm going to go ahead and end it. All right, so today we have 13 that are saying yes, 10 that are saying maybe, and 10 that are saying no. So a pretty even split, which is helpful for us to know as we're getting ready to roll out the funding and also the support that we want to be able to provide to you. All right, so here's how it will work. You'll submit your letter of intent, and then we will provide you with technical assistance to complete an application. Based on the information that we have gathered from around the state, not everyone has a grant writer or grant writing experience or additional time within your already overworked staff to be able to fill out a grant application. And we recognize that, and we want to be sure that you're provided the support you need to be able to access these funds. This is particularly important for very small organizations, very rural organizations. So we want to be able to help you walk through the pieces, help you to provide the paperwork. And some of that comes with you telling us some things and us figuring out how to fill out those forms together so that they can be done in a way that you'll be able to get what you need out of this project. And that is if your organization chooses to. So this is an opt-in network. We hope that you want to be part of this movement of family serving organizations that is really expanding across Wyoming and soon will be, I think, the leaders in family resource centers across the nation. But you have to opt in to be part of it. That comes with a few different options. You can opt into the training components. You could want to have training for your staff that is evidence-based, that is in ACEs and protective factors. You could choose to enroll in the database and want to be part of the statewide data collection system. You can choose to be part of grant funding. There's lots of different options because every organization is in a different place and has different needs. And some of those needs are going to change over the next few years, and we want to be flexible to that as well. So if your organization is not wanting to jump fully in today, we definitely want to still have you be part of these expanded collaborations that are going to happen across the state. Right, so I want to provide you with a couple different options to stay connected. We have a survey for you, it's a Google survey. You can fill it out and you can tell us you want to be on the list for when everything is released so that you can submit your letter. You want to be a funder and you want to contribute to this project. You want to be on the email list, a variety of different ways for you to say that you want to be involved. So that's the first thing. And then I want to share with you a link to our Family Resource Center website. It's on the Children's Trust Fund website, and it has a FRC link. So if you can't find it in the future, if you just go to the Children's Trust Fund website and there's an FRC little button at the top, if you click on that, we will be updating the website with information as we roll out more details, and you'll be able to get it there. Then I want to open it up for questions, comments, initial thoughts. Anybody who wants to come off of mute today and share anything. Or type them in the chat box, yes.
I don't have any questions, Sarah, but as always, beautiful presentation. Great job.
Thanks, Reagan. Thanks for being here.
I have two questions, Sarah.
Great.
The first one is the Wyoming Children's Trust Fund, the administrator of these funds at the state level?
So the Department of Family Services is the umbrella of the Wyoming Children's Trust Fund budget. And so that is where they physically live in the state budget.
Perfect. So that's my first question. And then the second one is kind of the structure of these grants and support as time goes on. Is this going to be administered through the county, or are all the eligible entities in a county available to apply? How is that in terms of the communities as it was described on that slide?
Yeah, so great question, and a little bit still to be determined. And reason being, so you're in Teton County, and so if we have multiple providers who come to the table from Teton County, your technical assistance may be around how can we support you as a group in doing this initiative for family resource centers. And so communities are going to look different because communities in location are a bit different, but also there may be some organizations that serve multiple counties. And so looking at some of those dynamics, but some of it will be in the individual technical assistance in trying to get those really strong collaborations.
Perfect, thanks.
Thank you.
Sarah, we got one question about whether or not you will be sharing these slides after the call.
Yes, I'm going to, we're being recorded, so I will share the slides. I will stick it on the website. I will send it out to everybody who was on the invite today, and I will post this video to the website as well so that everybody can get the information. Great. I love this, Susan. Thank you. Susan says, East Snow may be interested in providing some funding opportunities around diapering. Yes. Awesome. And I know Amy was part of some of those conversations, and so we have been updated that there is some movement happening around trying to coordinate some of these different pieces.
And Sarah, in addition to that, is as part of that network around the broadband affordability piece for families in Wyoming, and that is funding that is going to be available through CSNO or Community Services Network of Wyoming for different areas. We're also working with the state broadband office around future grants to be able to help families afford that connectivity issue so they can access some of the telehealth opportunities, employment opportunities, and social connection opportunities that broadband will afford. So we look forward to having future conversations with the FRC network with all of that.
That's great, Susan. Thank you so much. Feel free to send me an email. There's, I think, about 10 different places on the website that you can send me an email through there. I sent out the invite on your calendar today, so you should have my email attached to that. You are welcome to call our office here, 777-5452, if you want to talk instead of email, which is wonderful as well. But if we don't have any other questions today, I will give you back a little bit of your afternoon. And I appreciate everybody being part of this and being willing to engage in this conversation about what we can do to be quite a movement of family serving agencies as we head down this path of so many great collaborations that are happening. I want to give credit where credit is due. So here are some resources that I pulled from today. And then thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording